Okay, so today I'm talking about a classic piece of solo flute repertoire, Syrinx by Claude Debussy from 1913. So, yeah, this is sort of like the first big solo flute piece for, like, written for the modern flute, the Bohm system, keyed flute. There's not a lot of solo flute repertoire before this, not in in the way that string instruments have solo repertoire. I mean, there is a CPE Bach piece, I believe, but uh, you know, typically wind instruments were accompanied in any sort of solo capacity, right? So 1913 is when people start to take solo flute seriously, and um, all of most of the solo flute repertoire is after this, right? Firmly after 1913. I believe that Syrinx, the mythical figure, is the love interest of Pan, obviously, the flautist figure in Greek mythology. This piece is dedicated to Louis Fleury, a French flautist who died in 1926. I guess they premiered it, I'm assuming. It was originally written as some incidental music for a play and was played off stage. The original title was Flute de Pan. What is Pan the god of? So Syrinx is a nymph. Pan is the god of the wild, shepherds, flocks, rustic music, and impromptus. Yeah, there's some sort of association here with like the pastoral, I guess, but also the this idea of antiquity and what antique music might sound like. This piece is also a standard in the saxophone literature, probably not by the composer's design. And yeah, I'm sure it's popular on other instruments as well. It's just 2 pages and it's about 3 minutes. So why don't we listen to it together? Um, yeah, not sure if this qualifies as contemporary music, but it's important to think about it in the context of all this other solo flute stuff we've been listening to, I think. And um, yeah, this is also our second Debussy episode. So you're really, if it so interests you, whatever my thoughts are on Debussy, there's another episode on one of his piano pieces that you can go to. And I don't know the episode number offhand, but it's there. And yeah, I'll see you in 3 minutes. Yeah, I listened to the Berlin Philharmonic performance here by Andreas Blau. I'm trying to think of what the context would be. I think this would be really interesting to hear alongside some of Debussy's orchestra pieces, um, especially from stuff from around the same time. It's yeah, it sounds very orchestral, like an orchestra solo almost, just like a little bit longer than your typical orchestra solo. You can kind of imagine the rich harmonies that could accompany it, right? It doesn't sound very atonal. Like we looked at the Varese yesterday, that doesn't sound like it needs any kind of accompaniment, right? It it sounds like a solo piece. This sounds like, you know, there was a choice to leave out the accompaniment or whatever. I really like how it uses the middle and low register of the flute and then saves the really high stuff for a couple specific moments. I think it really is kind of like textbook, like orchestral flute writing. I think a composer could learn a lot about the flute just from studying this score. It definitely is long enough that it is like a standalone piece, but I can also see how it's used in the context of a play. I would have thought maybe it could even work in an opera or something as an interlude or something. Because I think in Tristan and Isolde there's like that huge English horn solo Um, kind of reminded me of that. I think tomorrow we're moving on to the pieces for flute and electronics. Uh, might be a piece by an old colleague of mine at the University of North Texas. Depends on if I can find a recording for that. But I have three pieces up next for flute and electronics, and then I think I have three or four pieces for piccolo after that.